When this video goes live, it'll be exactly 12 hours from the release of Hollow Knight Silksong. I am so excited, I cannot wait. And because I know for an absolute fact there's going to be tons of brand new players playing this game, tons of people who maybe have never played the original Hollow Knight, maybe who haven't played any Metroidvanias at all. And I wanted to just give a really nice tips and tricks video. Nothing too in-depth, nothing that would spoil anything for any story or any abilities that you can get in the game. I just want to cover some really basic tips, things that will help you explore and find new things. Now the first tip is a very important tip. I'm leading with what I think is the most important for playing especially Hollow Knight or Silksong, and that's you really need to read and pay attention to signs and dialogue between characters. There's an entire mechanic you could completely miss in the original Hollow Knight, and that's the map. Essentially, when you get to that first town, there's a sign on the door saying that a shop is opening soon. You meet the guy who sells you the maps, and he talks about there's a shop in Dirtmouth on the surface that we've opened. Go check it out. And if you don't do that, you will completely miss 2 items that you absolutely need to be able to navigate the map properly. And this game does you no favors. If you're not paying attention to the dialogue, if you skip through it super quick, or if you walk right by signs that say press up to read or anything like that, you will miss out on really important information. Now, some things are just kind of poetic mentions, just kind of really cool lore things that you don't necessarily need in order to play. But there are plenty of signs or dialogue between characters that just have really important elements in them you really need to pay attention to. Tip number 2 is incredibly important for exploration. Now my tip here is hit every single wall. Every wall that you see, strike with your nail. Or whatever it is, Silksong that you use, the needle or whatever. Strike every wall. You never know which wall is going to be breakable and there's going to be something hidden behind it. There are tons of things in the original Hollow Knight that I randomly discovered on a 3rd playthrough that I would never have discovered unless I was striking every wall. Because you'll randomly find a breakable wall that leads to a little path, and really the only thing that's down there is these little mounds of geo, which is the money, and if you hit the geo mounds, it spits out the money essentially and you can pick it up. But there's nothing of note in those areas otherwise, so you would never know that it was even down there. And this is the case for a lot of things. Jump around every area, try to cheese your way into corners to see if there are hidden rooms or anything like that. There's so many things that you might find just jumping around and jumping up against walls and then sliding down them. I've also found things doing that too. Sliding down a wall and then you just end up going in the wall without even noticing. You would never have noticed that there was an entrance there, right? So do plenty of things like that. Slide down walls, attack walls, all that stuff. You will certainly find things that you just did not know exist. Tip number 3 is practice, practice, practice. You want to keep practicing every single thing in this game. And of course, when I say this game, I mean the original Hollow Knight and in Silksong. It's going to be the same for both. You're going to want to practice all the platforming, all the acrobatics, all the fighting, just fighting basic enemies. Just fight them over and over again and learn the best ways to encounter different enemies at different angles, at different places, different platforms. The more you practice, the better you will get. And when you go to fight these bigger bosses, you will use those things that you learn to fight these bosses and you'll be better at it. And when you fight these bosses, there's a chance you might lose, and every time that you lose, you got to kind of find your in the original Hollow Knight, it's your little ghost, little shade, and I think in Silksong it's going to be just a cocoon of thread essentially that you got to find. You got to break it and get all your stuff back. Once you do, try that boss again. As frustrating as it can be to fight the same boss 3, 4, 5 times, each time I promise you will get better. It might be slightly each time, but you will get better. You will learn their different techniques, you will learn their different patterns, you'll learn better ways to dodge their attacks, you'll learn better ways to get your own hits in, and when you finally defeat a boss after multiple tries, it's so satisfying. And it's these things that make me realize why people play games like Elden Ring, even though those games are supposed to be really, really difficult. It's the same thing. After trying, and trying, When you finally get it, you're just like, it feels so good. Like you finally achieved it, right? It's just a giant dopamine hit, right? It's just so good. It's one of the best parts of this series. And tip number 4, this is something you can take with you to really any Metroidvania, is that if you see a spot that you just cannot get to, you jump in different ways, you try to cheese it off of different like enemies or something, you still can't get to that spot, it's very likely you just don't have that particular platforming ability that you need to get there. Just mark that spot in your mind, or if there are, at least in the original Hollow Knight, there's little things that you can buy for the map that lets you put a marker on the map. Put a marker on the map and put it in a spot where you know there's an item that you can't get to yet, and it will remind you to go back to that spot after you've gotten a platforming ability so that you could try it again. This game is full of moments like that. I remember my last playthrough, which I literally just finished it, I want to say yesterday, and there were times where I was going through, actually pulled up a map online to see like, what am I know I'm missing a couple things, and I'm like, oh, I'm missing like really early stuff. Like there's a grub really early game where you need a special ability to get to it, and by the end of the game you have so many different platforming abilities that it's shockingly easy to get to, but that early on you just don't have anything, right? You can just jump and that's it, and it's just out of reach. So you just got to mark on your map, hey, this item, I can't get to it yet. And then when you finally get that platforming ability, there's like an aha moment, right? In these games where you get it and you're like, oh, I can use this to get that item, or I can use this to get to that platform that I saw earlier that I just could not get to normally. And I think that's one of those things, right? Like I mentioned in the previous tip, it's like a dopamine hit, right? You're just like, wow, this is so good. And this is really one of the greatest things about this genre, is that you get these special abilities and you realize, wow, this is exactly the thing that I need to progress, or to get this special item, or to do this. And you just, so many thoughts flood your mind and you're like, I can do all these things now. And it just becomes super exciting. And you go back and you do all those things and you get another ability and you're like, oh my God, that ability led me to the path to get this new ability. And now I can do all these other things, and it just kind of like explodes from there. Sorry, something about this genre, I just love it so much. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna make this video super long and go super in depth on any of these tips, because I really don't want to spoil any of this game for you. I know that some of the stuff earlier in the video, I talked about a specific platforming ability. You do get that really early on in the game. And I talk about the map, and I didn't really want to get too much into what you discover in these games, because I just want you all to play this and discover everything for yourself. I just love these games. I want to share my love for these games with people. So if you're playing Hollow Knight for the very first time and you found any of these tips helpful, let me know in the comments below which tip you liked the best, and just go ahead and hit that like button, because that really does help the channel. It tells YouTube that this is a good video and that more people should see it. And if you want to see more Hollow Knight or more Metroidvania specific videos, I'll be making plenty of them, you know, my name being Jefftroidvania. You can click on my face right here and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.